Hey everyone, Scott here to discuss 300 Rise of an Empire, starring Sullivan Stapleton, Eva Green, Lena Headey, I don't know if I'm saying that right, please forgive me, Hans Matheson, and Rodrigo Santoro, and directed by Noam Murrow. Now, before I get into this movie, I did see this in 3D in theaters, and I thought the 3D was neat. I mean, I'll give it that, but what do I think of it now that I'm watching it at home on 2D? I'm not sure. Let's get into it. We pick up with King Leonidas' death as Xerxes, returned by Rodrigo Santoro, cuts his head off, and we get a narration of Queen Gorgo, returned by Lena Headey, who tells the Spartan soldiers how they're at war. And I like the visuals this time, but not as much as last time. Whereas it was gorgeous, but here it's pretty good for a 3D world, but not as good as Avatar's world, for example. The violence here is rather over the top when the Spartans fight off the Persian armies. And why do we need a sequel to the most badass movie from last week is beyond me. We get a flashback of how Xerxes' father dies from Thermistocles or Stokos? I don't know if I'm saying that right. Played by Sullivan Stapleton, and hires Artemisa, played by Eva Green, who I enjoyed here as a villain, and I will talk about her again in the Daniel Craig James Bond film Casino Royale, to kill Thermistocles, and she tells Xerxes to transform himself as the giant we saw last time, as he was born a god king. And this plot doesn't make as much sense as last time, and the acting is worse here than last time. And there just may be this sequel for the 3D reasons, which is a cheap way to make money in my opinion anyways. We learn Artemisa was Greek by birth, but her heart is Persian. And was that a good way to show off your villain? No, because it was a cheap way to solve that mystery, and I'm done with and I don't and I'm not liking the characters as much as last time. And there was a good reason why I never went back to this movie after I saw it in theaters the first time, and also I don't get this plot or the reason why they made this movie in the first place. We do see the messenger back and training Artemisa as a little girl to become the killer she is in the movie. And my problem is it's not as believable as Xerxes' story in the beginning of the movie and causes a war to happen. And I believe that story more than her origin story. And I wish I would have assumed that she was evil anyways and never showed her backstory, because I don't care about Artemisa as a villainous character, as it's not believable. After the first fight in the movie between the Greeks and the Persians, Artemisa learns a little about Thermistocles. I don't know if I'm saying that right, please forgive me. As he was very good in battle, as in the Greeks retreat, and as the Persians fall for a trap, the Greeks fight the Persians. And the music was very out of place in this movie, as it was, once again, rock music at times that bugged me. The thing that was bugging me too was the blood when they sliced people up did feel like a 3D trick, but it did kind of it got kind of obnoxious after a while in 2D. Artemisa sends Thermistocles a message as they arrange a meeting on her ship, and they have once again an unnecessary sex scene as she proposes for him to join her and the Persians, and he says no, and she gets her sword out as her top is still showing, and Thermistocles walks out and rejoins the Greeks, and the sex scene should have been edited in the editing room as it took too long and it bugged the fuck out of me. I mean, honestly, did we need it? No. The Greeks retreat because Persian soldiers are coming around about their ship, or aboard their ship, I should say, and Artemisa shoots 3 arrows at a Greek soldier, and the Persians throw fire in the water, and that was filled with oil, and they abandon ship as the fire comes around the Greek ship, which was not a great action sequence in my opinion. Thermistocles wakes up and sees a bunch of men shot with arrows and killed, and I'm not connecting with these Greeks. Some monsters, some monster who betrayed the Spartans in the first film enjoyed the Persians last time, tells Thermostocles what's going to happen in the last battlefield, and Thermostocles tells Queen Gorgo about the Persians' plan and asks to fight with the Greeks. As she says no, which was unconvincing acting, Artemisa prepares for one final battle behind Xerxes' back. Meanwhile, Thermostocles makes a speech and prepares for battle with the Greeks, which felt very unrealistic, I'll say. The final battle begins with the Greeks attacking the Persians, and Artemisa starts attacking the Greeks, and they're killing one another off like fucking crazy. And Thermostocles comes in with a horse, and Artemisa kills Thermostocles' horse as he kills off every single person, and they fight, and the Spartans come in and join the battle, and Xerxes walks away as he loses hope on Artemisa as she's killed by Thermostocles, and the Spartans arrive just in time to kill every single person off, and the movie ends right there, and I thought that ending was incomplete. And the climax didn't thrill me as much either, as again, this ending is incomplete. Now it's time for the rating. I'll give this movie a 2.8 out of 10. This was made for 3D in order to make more money, which is absolutely cheap and pointless, and it felt incomplete as the plot makes no goddamn sense. And I don't like the characters, but the visuals are pretty good, but not as great as last time. The only scene that should have been cut in the editing room is the unnecessary sex scene, as it bugged the fuck out of me, and the blood to make this movie 3D was more obnoxious in 2D than it was in 3D. So I'm a little disappointed. I'm sorry. I'm going to be honest. I'm disappointed in this movie. So I'd like to thank you guys for joining me for the 300 series. And until if they ever make another one, this is Sparta!